Another big day for Indiana football in the transfer portal as two more additions are made, a wide receiver from Tulane and possibly a starting corner from Penn State.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, and it is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day and the nation's #1 sports podcasting network. This is a bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers, and if you've started to become an everydayer around here, you understand we're doing a lot of these right now with the transfer portal, ever-changing, always a new update. And for Indiana, there seems to be multiple every day that they don't play a football game. And on this Monday, it was no different. The Hoosiers land 2 commits so far on this Monday afternoon, Monday day, morning, whatever you want to call it, in the transfer portal. We're going to talk about both of them here on this bonus episode. There is some re-signing news. We'll have a separate episode coming out about that on the defensive side of the football. That is just major for the Hoosiers. But I want to talk about what Indiana did today, because you went and got one of the best corners in the nation in the transfer portal to commit to the Indiana Hoosiers. He was ranked the 4th best corner in the Big Ten, and he was one of the best available guys in the transfer portal. He comes from Happy Valley. He comes from Penn State, and his name is AJ Harris. He is a 1-year rental, if you will, and that comes off as a negative connotation or a degrading way, but it's not. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining. A guy who originates from the state of Alabama. He played at Georgia. He then went to Penn State, and now he is at Indiana. So if you ask me, he just took the proper steps to get to the highest level, if you really think about it, right? 6'1", 193 pounds. He has 81 tackles in his career. He's got 7 passes defended. He also has 5 TFLs. He's got a pick and a fumble recovery as well. He was all Big Ten honorable mention this past year at Penn State, and he was pretty active in the Indiana game, having 7 or 8 tackles, I believe, in the game against the Hoosiers, and a guy that started in 26 out of 27 games for the Nittany Lions. And I believe that this is somebody who steps in and competes for the starting corner job in 2026. Now, I understand what the potential could be of that starting cornerback spot, right? With a couple of guys coming back, there's still a big name up in the air. But to talk about AJ Harris for a moment before we get to that, and then we'll talk about the receiver from Tulane, I love this pickup for AJ Harris, for the Indiana Hoosiers of AJ Harris. And look, I've been very positive about a lot of the commits that Indiana has. I have not oversold you on any of them. I'm not hyping this up for clicks or views. I'm not generating excitement. I really do like this guy and what he brings in terms of just his experience, if nothing else, plus some of the stats that jump off the page too. And I believe that AJ Harris can compete for the starting corner job. I texted my buddy Zach Sako, the host of Locked On Nittany Lions. We do a show at least once a week on here, if not twice. You hear him on the Locked On Big Ten Squad shows, and he does a fantastic job on his own show. I texted him and asked him for a few words on AJ Harris and how he would describe the way that he plays. And here's what he said. He said, AJ Harris is elite in man coverage. He said he struggled a little bit with the Jim Knowles defense playing some zone, but a guy that you want him playing up, you want him playing a lot of press man. When he's one-on-one, he's going to win his battle. It's the zone that he kind of struggles with, which Indiana runs some, but they also trust their corners to go one-on-one and win their battle, right? So in terms of AJ Harris, he's got a strength, and that is me and my man, and I'm going to win my battle. But the Hoosiers do run quite a bit of zone. They run some coverage and things, but I think that can be fixed. I think that can be coached. And as much as I respect Jim Knowles, he's a guy that's bounced around several times. Ohio State, then Penn State. He's now at Tennessee, right, for people that forget. And so I'm not saying this was a Jim Knowles problem and not an AJ Harris problem, but you do want to see some I guess, some continuity here. And hopefully AJ Harris can get the little bit more coaching that he needs for a guy that was projected like a second round draft pick a year ago, who's now going to be stepping onto campus in Bloomington. So I think he can compete for what we expect to be the starting cornerback job. Ryland Gandy's expected to return. Jamari Sharpe is expected to return. And then there's the question of D'Angelo Ponds. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I am not going to predict or act or talk in terms of 2026 like D'Angelo Ponds is going to be on this football team. I'm just not. I think that's a risky bet. I think it's a risky gamble. Could he? Absolutely. But until something is confirmed, written on paper, written in stone, and a contract is signed and an announcement is made, I'm not going to go that far. There are some people who say he's coming back. There's some people say that he's gone. Until I see it, I'm not going to believe it because I think he's an NFL corner right now, folks. I really do. I think D'Angelo Ponds is that talented, but so are Ryland Gandy and Jamari Sharpe. Maybe not to his level, but they're pretty darn good. And you feel very comfortable with what they have for you. Plus some of the younger guys like Jalen Bell, who I know the coaching staff, the sophomore next year, the coaching staff loves that kid. But you just went and got a starter out of the Big Ten and brought him to another Big Ten school. You don't just do that for no reason. You don't do that for depth. You do that because you believe he has a chance to be the guy. So very excited about AJ Harris. He's from Penn State, again, played under Jim Knowles, and we'll see what his status is and what he's able to do on that defensive back rotation for the Indiana Hoosiers. But then we flip to the offensive side where the Hoosiers pick up a big commit there as well. We talk about that next on this Locked On Hoosiers bonus show right after this. This bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers brought to you by FanDuel. The wild card round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users can get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. So if you're watching or listening to this before the Monday night game between the Texans and the Steelers, you can jump on that, or you can wait till this weekend, right? Should be 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday for the NFL playoffs, and you can be a part of that with FanDuel. You can open up their app and they're going to have multiple profit boosts for you that you can use on the bets that you already like. So maybe you want to bet on Aaron Rodgers on this Monday night. Maybe you want to bet on Josh Allen coming up this weekend. Whatever the case may be, you can do that with some fun profit boosts with FanDuel. Visit FanDuel right now, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. This bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers is also brought to you by Wayfair. The new year is here, and it's the perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how it looks and how it feels, right? That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop for getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Wayfair has everything you need to feel for a full home refresh all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work from home setup, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what works for your style and your budget. Folks, my roommates literally just bought a couch off there last night. It'll be here Thursday or Friday. Bought a big sectional that they love for our living room, right next to my recliner, of course. But they used Wayfair because the shipping was quick, the prices were great, and the selection was phenomenal. So get organized, refreshed, and back on track this new year for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. All right, welcome back into this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers as we continue talking the transfer portal. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you and your support of the show. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You follow us on your audio podcasting platforms and on social media as well at Locked On Hoosiers on X, TikTok. We're there as well. And we talked about the Penn State corner that committed. How about we talk about that Tulane receiver that committed as well as Indiana stays busy in the transfer portal. This one was actually the first one to commit earlier today on Monday. Shazz Preston. Yes, Shazz Preston has committed to the Indiana Hoosiers. He is also a one-year rental, right? 1 year of eligibility remaining. He's a guy who stands at 6 feet tall, 206 pounds, and it's the second receiver that Indiana has brought through the transfer portal. He's a Southern guy. He's from Louisiana, so he played for one of the hometown schools. And in 20 games in his 2 years down there, he had 47 catches, 800 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Here's the thing, though. 2025 was his best season. Okay, 43 catches for 700 yards and 4 touchdowns. So coming off his best season, he is a guy who was at Alabama originally, went back home to Tulane, played some good football, and now he's back in the P4, up in the Big Ten, and playing for the Indiana Hoosiers. So he has 1 year left of eligibility in 2026. And this brings up the question. A, how good is he? I think he's pretty solid. But B, where does he fit in the receiver rotation? And do you go and get somebody like this if Omar Cooper is coming back? Right? That's the big question. We talked about D'Angelo Ponds in the cornerback room. Now we're talking about Omar Cooper in the receiver room, because you already brought in Nick Marsh, who could very well be your number one next year at the receiver spot. Charlie Becker is going to fight for that spot as well, and he absolutely should. You have LeBron Bond on there as well, who I think can make an impact in the later years of his career. But you needed somebody else. Even if Omar Cooper comes back, I think it's fine to go get somebody like this, somebody who went P4, didn't quite work out, went to G5, made an impact, played on a college football playoff team, and now you bring him to Bloomington. You feel good about this. And let's play the what if game, and we'll play both sides here as we wrap up. What if Omar Cooper does come back to the Hoosiers? Because that's not a done deal one way or the other. Same way with D'Angelo and a couple of other players. Again, we'll talk about one that did make his decision in another episode coming up soon. But let's say that Omar Cooper does come back. All right, well, he's instantly number one. You have Charlie Becker, who I think could see more volume and more targets and more catches in 26 than Omar Cooper could. Then you have Nick Marsh, who could be number one or number two or number three. I think any of those three guys could work in rotation. Plus, you have some of your guys who have been around for a little bit. As I mentioned, LeBron Bond's the one that I have my eye on. And now you go get this guy. You go get Shazz Preston, who just goes right into the rotation and let the best man or best couple of men win, right? But let's say Omar Cooper doesn't come back. Then I think you have Charlie Becker, Nick Marsh fighting for wide receiver one. I expect Nick Marsh to win that, but my opinion is my opinion, and we'll just have to wait and see the prediction. It's not a fact, right? Then you have Shazz Preston, who could be 2, 3, 4. Heck, he could be number one if he shows up and balls out. You can never have too many of these guys. Guys who are fast, go up and get the football, beat somebody down the field, make a man miss in the open field. That is Shazz Preston, and that is what Indiana's wide receiver room looks like. So I think this is great. I think this is awesome that Indiana has gone and got another receiver in the portal, regardless of what happens with Omar Cooper. And maybe they know something on the inside that they haven't released to the public. That is a real thing happening right now in Bloomington and in Miami, just being honest with you. And it happened with other places when they were still competing in the playoff. You saw the mass exodus over the weekend in Eugene. Yeah, the Ducks had those conversations already. As soon as the season was over, the people that were told to bolt, bolted. That's how it works. Or the people that decided to leave, they left. Or the ones who said, I'm going to the draft, coach, I appreciate you. They went to the NFL draft. That's how this works. And so more to come on whether Omar Cooper comes back, D'Angelo Ponds comes back, and a couple of other guys at key positions. But the Hoosiers went and got big-time players at the cornerback spot and the receiver room on this Monday afternoon. Thank you so much for being here on this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Keep an eye out, okay? Keep an eye out for another episode on Amari Farrell. That's right, the safety has returned. We'll talk about that in a bonus episode, plus another full episode coming up tomorrow as well for more visitors and another one in the running back room. Yes, that in the offensive line. You got to get some more names there for the Indiana Hoosiers. So make sure you're subscribed right here on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. We are back for a bonus episode later and a full episode tomorrow, Hoosier fans. So until then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.